What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video from Pink Tourmaline. This video is it's gonna be a quick one, and this is about somebody named Dr. Linda Backman. She is, again, here's her little summary, her little intro, short bio. Featured on Coast to Coast AM and Gaia TV, Dr. Linda Backman is an expert teacher, regression therapist, and licensed psychologist. So she has helped a lot of people understand their past lives in context to their current lives. And obviously, these might be concepts that are potentially foreign to you, but what you hear over and over, time and again, in people that have had near-death experiences or past life regressions is they generally all agree and corroborate this idea of, yes, we've had other experiences on this earth, elsewhere in the universe, manifesting in different forms. And each life is an opportunity. It's a chance to level up via experiences and via the way that we respond to different experiences and challenges, which brings me to a general point that I wanted this video to be about, which is, to me, when it's described, I'm going to play a clip from Linda Backman in a second talking about this exact notion, but to me, a great analogy that I'm starting to, I feel makes a lot of sense for what this life is all about and why we incarnate and why we want to learn and grow in this sort of limited form, is almost like a game of chess. You know, we think about when you sit down with somebody to play a game of chess or checkers or Monopoly. You agree for a set period of time that you're almost taking on these characters, and you're saying, well, I know I can move up, down, left, right, and do all these things in the real world, but in this game, this piece is only allowed to move diagonally. That one is only allowed to move one space at a time. And then within those limitations, we play the game. And the idea is, why do we play? Obviously, within the game, you're trying to win, but there's so many benefits outside of the game within our lives that we extract even before and after the game is played, right? Like, you get camaraderie. You're sitting down to play and have an experience with somebody. You're learning strategy within those confines. So it's like the limited constraints that apply within these games, within these rule sets, they actually provide very valuable lessons that you can apply in your regular life outside of that game. And I think incarnating on this planet is similar. We maybe in the light realm, when our souls are sort of limitless, we can zip around, we can have access to infinite information. Here we have a limited set of abilities. We can only access and learn things in a very particular way. But I believe, just like playing a game of chess, it's the same way, where we're forced within these strictures to do our best and to make the right choices. And through that process, we learn, and that applies to our growth and progression, maybe energetically or as a soul, or whatever you want to call it. Which takes me back to something that popped into my head about a year ago. This life is not about this life. I mean, just like a chess game, it's not really about the chess game. I mean, maybe for some people they view it that way, but it's about the lessons and the growth that you can achieve from that chess game. And I think this life, that living our lives, or this life in particular, is very similar. Yes, we want to achieve certain things in this life. That's part of maybe incarnating. We play the game. We're in this planet. We want to go out and get a job and be a productive member of society. But ultimately, this life is not about achieving things specifically in this life, but it's about the growth that we can achieve in this life that's going to have repercussions and ramifications for the evolution of our spirit and the progression of our spirit. So I'm going to play a quick clip here where she talks about this notion of free will incarnating, and basically exactly that point, right? Trying to come here, trying to extract lessons. We don't always get the lessons, and we don't always get the progression and the evolution, but we have the opportunity to. That's where free will comes in. So we have to make the right choices, or the best choices we can, hopefully, along the way. So check out this quick clip, and then we're going to close out the video. Here we go.
And so we make that conscious choice. That's where we had karma in the past. We bring the karma forward. We can choose whether to work on it or not work on it. So simplistically, that's the notion of karma.
And we do choose the circumstances that we're born into, meaning we choose our parents, this is difficult for a lot of people to kind of wrap their head around. We choose our parents, we choose our country, we choose our religion or community, even we have one or we don't have one, our gender, if we want to experience, because experiencing the world as a woman is very different than experiencing the world of men, depending on what country you're in as well, and what
So this idea of choice, right? That he's talked about this with countless mediums, near-death experience folks, they all say the same thing, that it is a choice. So it again takes us back to that analogy as a very apropos analogy, just like we're choosing to engage in a game of chess or Monopoly or whatever it may be in this physical realm. It sounds very similar, that we choose the specific set of circumstances, whether pleasant or unpleasant on a grand scale, but for the purpose of extracting particular lessons. So anyways, this account gave me this idea to express and articulate this notion or this analogy that I've had kind of percolating in the back of my mind for some time. So there it is. I think it's, again, I'm trying to view this through a lens of logic, through an open-minded lens. And to me, this really resonates with me in terms of making sense, being logical. And I wanted to share it and let me know if it resonates with you as well. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.